Hey everybody, did you know you can go to colinmullen.com in order to get art and art prints? It's why I set up the website, colinmullen.com. So hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking about something that's not technically art related, but I think you'll find that a lot of artists throughout history were very passionate political people. And so I have a feeling that this, although doesn't directly apply to art, you're probably the same kind of person I am, at least as far as maybe that you might want to consider protesting. And the advice I'm going to give you is, generally speaking, America-based, but will be generalized to most Western countries in the very least. The reason for this is a lot of them use the same playbook on how to do protests or how to quench protests and such. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Things that you should do before you go to your first protest, things that you should be thinking of when you go to your first protest. First off, I'm going to say a lot of the advice that I'm about to give, I would say is valid, but in most cases not needed, because a lot of protests just end fine. Nothing goes wrong, nothing's weird, everything's fine, everyone's cool, everyone goes home, the police don't track you down afterwards, there's no issues. 99%, probably not actually 99%, but a decent chunk of protests are just, you go, you have them, it's fun. Especially if it's a very corporate thing, or if it's a very public thing, everyone knows that it's gonna happen. Like, everyone's going to this one, man. Early days of Occupy, BLM, stuff like that come to mind, because not that they're corporate, but they had a decent push of people, and that was not the right time to try and tear that apart. They kind of had to work in a message saying, well, actually they're rioters and evil and whatever, so we have to get rid of them. That kind of energy. If they're starting to talk about the protest that way, it might get hairy. But if they're not talking like that, it's probably safe. I'm going to link to a Wired video I saw as well. This one has a lot of how to not get spotted by the police or be tracked after a protest. Wear a mask, that's important. Doesn't necessarily save you, because AI is getting better and can track you based on maybe just the eyes to forehead region, or nose to forehead region of your face. Your shoes can be tracked based on, just wear the same shoes all the time. Anything that identifies you normally are going to be things that identify you. Bringing a phone with you is a bad idea, generally speaking, because your position can be tracked, just because it can. The cops have access to those records. The majority of what I'm saying is based on my experience as an American, but also will be valid in most Western countries. I think they roll different in other countries, so it probably won't be valid there. So, in that case, rules may be different, but I'm going to link to that at the end so you guys can have that extra information on what to wear. But I generally recommend simple black block style, black hoodie, jeans, sunglasses, nothing fancy or identifying on you. That way, if stuff goes down, you can just walk away, throw away the hoodie, throw away the mask, throw away the sunglasses, ditch that stuff, and just walk. And then you're a different person, for as far as they can tell. It's very good for getting you back to safety again, which sometimes is what you need. Their video goes into a lot more depth on these things, but that's my general advice. If you're gonna bring a cell phone, like I said, you can use a Faraday cage. If you don't have one, which I don't, you can wrap it in aluminum foil. I don't know how actually effective that is, so I wouldn't really trust it that much, but assuming that you can totally seal it and that radio waves can't get to your phone, it will kill. I guess you could try and call it with someone else's phone, be like, hey, is my phone wrapped up correctly? I don't know. Anyway, I haven't tried it myself. I've heard it works. I don't trust it that much. Anyway, now on to the actual tips that I wrote down, rather than just addendums that I had. The first one is wear nice shoes. You're essentially going on a long hike / march, a marathon kind of style thing. You're going to be on your feet for a few hours, probably. Your feet are going to get tired. The better shoes you have, the less you'll have to deal with that. Just simple. Number 2, decide before you go to the event how you're going to be, what your game plan is. If you're the kind of person who wants to get physical with stuff, I'm not personally. I would suggest you make that plan in advance rather than at the scene, because energy and like mob mentality is real. You will start just going with the flow on stuff. It is a bad way to get into a bad position. Decide before you go, I'm not doing that. You know, I'm not gonna be in a situation where I'll throw hands, you know, at all. If it looks bad, I'm leaving, kind of thing. For me personally, I think that is the way to go, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I would tell you that I recommend that you figure that out before your blood starts boiling, before you start getting mad, and before you start making stupid decisions because the mob mentality gets to you. Number 3, kind of obvious, but wear weather appropriate stuff. Again, you're going to be outside for a while. If it's hot out, you know, wear lighter clothes. If it's cold out, wear winter clothes. Duh. But also you're going to be out for a while, so it just doesn't really... the amount of times that I had to help someone as a street medic with blood being involved was less than the number of times that I had to make sure someone had water in Texas. Like, people just didn't bring water with them when it was hot out. Bring, like, a disposable whatever bottle of water with you so that you can, again, throw it away if you need to. You don't have something identifying on you, and you can just walk. Again, anything you can do to make that easier for yourself. Number 4, write a number of who you're going to call, your, you know, mom, your dad, your lawyer, whoever, on yourself somewhere. And then you can even hide it if you want to be real fancy, with a Band-Aid. So that way, when you get arrested, if you get arrested, and they will arrest you for stupid things, and they'll make something up, and they may not even have a charge to arrest you with, but they'll bring you in the very least. Have a contact that you know you're going to call, and then have that written down, because if you're panicked, you're freaking out because you've been arrested, you haven't dealt with this before, it would be good to not have to try and remember stuff, and you could just call. It makes life a lot easier. Number 5, cops don't like being filmed doing messed up stuff, like beating people, denying people's right to speech, that kind of stuff. That looks bad for them. They will try, the news will not stay around all day. The news crews will not be there all day. Once they go home, once it starts getting dark, once all the kids go home, the grandmas, the dogs, all that kind of stuff, once those people go home, it's cops versus, like, young people. Cops have no issue beating up people around our age. So that's a problem. If you don't want that, bounce before it starts getting dark. If you see cops starting to, like, get a little antsy, start to get riot gear on, you need to bounce. If you don't want to be there for that. The cops will use whatever happens after dark. The news crew's gone, and they can just sort of tell the news, there are a couple agitators that really started rioting and doing awful things, and so we had to, we respect the peaceful protesters there, but we had to send them home. And the news, not having enough time or money to actually do their job, will not actually go and interview any protesters who got arrested and just be like, hey, what happened? They'll just go, whatever the cop said is probably right. We'll just go with that. It's the official government. They wouldn't lie. Go with a friend. That's tip number 6. Just more enjoyable to do things with friends, and it's safer to do things with friends. That applies to this too. Number 7, have an escape plan that involves you being able to leave the area of the protest and probably about a mile radius around it. Cops like to cordon off, like, anywhere where they know protesters parked. That's something that happened to us when we were doing Occupy. They, knew where we were parking, and they just had a few people hang out there and wait for people to show up to get their cars. And then they grabbed them then, or they grabbed them at the scene. Whatever, you're getting arrested. If it's a little bit away or, whatever, it ends up just being safer and less but again, this is if they're going to do something like that, but probably won't. Password lock your phone. Do not make it your birthday, obviously, and don't use biometrics like your face or your thumbprint or whatever. Those are very easy for a cop to just force your thumb onto the button and turn off the lock for a second, or, point the camera at your face and then get it to unlock. They can't extract knowledge of stuff from you without you telling them. So just don't tell them the password. Don't give them the ability to get into the phone, and all your phone information is relatively safe. Number 9, cops don't like lefties. You don't really need me to tell you that. they don't throw hands against like right-wing kind of people. They throw hands and get violent with left-wing people. Part of that may be due to the fact that right-wing people tend to bring guns to protests. Me personally have not tried that, so maybe that's the trick, but they will not mess with right-wing people as much as they'll mess with left-wing people, even if right-wing people are trying to agitate stuff. Number 10, people are going to yell at you from cars. It doesn't matter. Some people will be nice and yell nice things. Use it to energize you either way. Don't let it bring you down. They'll yell real nasty stuff, like graveyard, school level stuff at you. It does not matter. Number 11, your protest is probably not actually going to get the government to do anything unless if the numbers are huge, which means that, like, it does not to say that they're pointless. What I'm trying to say is that that is the first step in many to try and change stuff. Once the protest is big enough that they actually have to pay attention to it, then they will give you a response that is, maybe actually worth continuing protesting or going, cool, that's what I wanted to hear, and then you're good. Most of the time you won't get that satisfactory answer, unless if it's like something real basic. But even that nowadays, I don't even know. Anyway, my point is that you shouldn't just use protests to, push an agenda. You should also use it to gain allies, gain friends that you can use for future protests. Be like, hey man, I know you're about this kind of stuff and I'm going to one. You want to come? I will say sometimes people are undercover cops. They'll try and get you to blow stuff up, or there'll be some nut job there, or it'll be a creep. You're dealing with like random people. Keep that in mind. They are with you in that they agree with you on thing that you're protesting about. But, that may not always be the case. And they could be just there to get some action in one way or another. So that may or may not be the best idea to give them your phone number, for example. Number 12, if it's your first protest, don't plan on getting physical. You don't know what you mean when you say that. Don't stay out late. Do the chanting. Make some friends. Just enjoy it and then go home. Don't try and make it anything more than that. You're doing your duty by joining the lines of people who are protesting. Lastly, I just want to say thank you. If you're going to protest, it is a lot to do this. It is physically demanding to be out on the street, walking around, chanting, yelling, screaming. Your throat's going to get raw. But this is important. You care enough to have looked up this video or watched this video to this point. So it is important to you. I will say burnout is real, and there is also the feeling that the weight of the world is on you. And that if you don't do this perfect, then bad thing will happen to a group that you care about. And that's not fair to yourself. This is going to be the biggest protest that you've been to so far. You're going to do more because there's a lot of problems in this world. We're not going to be able to go to every event, every single protest, every single thing. We need to get out there, boots on the ground, and actually protest if we're going to have any change. They do not care about electronic signatures on a who's a what's it that gets sent to them. That's not masses of people in the street that the news has filmed. That's, a signature on a digital thing that probably has the same copy pasted, this is my opinion thing that everyone else copy pasted because they're like, hey, you could just use this. All in all, just thank you for doing the work you do. I can't do it all, you can't do it all, and just knowing that people are watching this video and sending this to other people to give them the information that they need in order to do the protests, that helps. You are not the only one fighting this fight. Keep that in mind. Take care of yourself. And now I have to thank the people on patreon.com/RevScarecrow. Kind of a tonal switch, but, these are the people who allow me to have a job, essentially, and go do protests like this. I didn't ask them whether or not they were okay with this video or not, so, if they're not, my bad. And I can remove your name from this if you ask me to, and there's a feature on YouTube, I can clip it out. Anyway, thank you to the following people, starting with my mom and dad. I love you. Thank you, Wap Fu. Thank you, Toph Houndor. Thank you, Split. Thank you, Sophia Nope. Thank you, Skella Corgi. Thank you, Reverend Joe. Thank you, Mortis. Thank you, Michael Carr. Thank you, Mario Pereira. Thank you, Lunar Ray. Thank you, Kayla Hollinger. Thank you, Katie Valent. Thank you, Josepher. Thank you, Gabriel Bennett. Thank you, Freak Wannabe. Thank you, Egg. Thank you, Chiptune Glitch. Thank you, Bep. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Aggie Wag. And thank you, Ats! It's just the right time where I can pull that off. Anyway, sorry, I don't know what the B-roll for this was, but hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully these tips were helpful to you. If they were, let me know. If you have any other ones, let me know. Generally speaking, just don't do anything that is dangerous, and take care of yourselves because you're important to me. People who would stay through this entire video are very important to me because this video specifically, you're going out there and doing good things, and I appreciate you. So thank you for that. I will see you in the next video. Bye.